country. He worked 2 jobs. He came home late and he left early every day. Then one day Mamacita and the baby boy arrived in a yellow taxi. The taxi door opened like a waiter's arm. Out stepped a tiny pink shoe, a foot soft as a rabbit's ear, then the thick ankle, a flutter of hips, fuchsia roses, and green perfume. Fuchsia is that beautiful dark pink, dark hot pink. I love it. The man had to pull her. The taxi cab driver had to push. Push, pull, push, pull. Poof! What are they implying by saying that she's, yeah. In Spanish, the cita means the small version, and the sota is kind of the big version. All at once she bloomed. Huge, enormous, beautiful to look at, from the salmon pink feather on the tip of her hat down to the little rosebuds of her toes. I couldn't take my eyes off her tiny shoes. Up, up, up the stairs she went with the baby boy in a blue blanket, the man carrying her suitcases, her lavender hat boxes, a dozen boxes of satin high heels. Then we didn't see her. Somebody said because she's too fat. Somebody because of the 3 flights of stairs. But I believe she doesn't come out because she is afraid to speak English. And maybe this is so since she only knows 8 words. She knows to say, "He not here," for when the landlord comes. No speak English if anybody else comes. And holy smokes. I don't know where she learned this, but I heard her say it one time and it surprised me. My father says when he came to this country, he ate ham and eggs for 3 months. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Notice how she puts it all together? Ham and eggs. That was the only word he knew. He doesn't eat ham and eggs anymore. Why do you think he doesn't eat ham and eggs anymore? Yeah, if you eat them every day for 3 months, because that's the only word that you're comfortable saying in English, you'd get pretty tired of them, wouldn't you? Whatever her reasons, whether she is fat or can't climb the stairs or is afraid of English, she won't come down. She sits all day by the window and plays the Spanish radio show and sings all the homesick songs about her country in a voice that sounds like a seagull. Home, home. Home is a house in a photograph, a pink house, pink as hollyhocks, with lots of startled light. The man paints the walls of the apartment pink, but it's not the same, you know. She still sighs for her pink house, and then I think she cries. I would. You know, when I moved into my neighborhood first, there were houses in the neighborhood, several of them, like pink and turquoise, lavender, orange, all kinds of different colors they were painted. And I used to really, really like that it was such a colorful neighborhood. But now it seems like the families that have become all Americanized, and now their house fronts are just the same old brown and white and gray, just like everybody else. Kind of made me sad in a way. Sometimes the man gets disgusted. He starts screaming, and you can hear it all the way down the street. "Ay," she says. She is sad. "Oh," he says, "not again." "Cuando, cuando, cuando?" she asks. "Ay, caray, we are home. This is home. Here I am, and here I stay. Speak English. Speak English. Christ." "Ay, Mamacita, who does not belong, every once in a while lets out a cry, hysterical, high, as if she had torn the only skinny thread that kept her alive, the only road out to that country. And then to break her heart forever, the baby boy, who has begun to talk, starts to sing the Pepsi commercial he heard on TV. "No speak English," she says to the child who is singing in the language that sounds like tin. "No speak English, no speak English," and bubbles into tears. "No, no, no," as if she can't believe her ears. Why does she get upset with the baby for speaking English? It is, though, now that he lives in the United States. She doesn't speak English, but why is it such a betrayal for her little baby to start speaking English? Yeah. Okay, she wants him probably to know his own language. But why is she so upset that he's speaking English first? And why doesn't she want to learn English? Any ideas? You know, I think most Americans assume that all Mexicans who come here want to stay here, and that they're so excited to be Americans, and that they're not homesick. But I don't think that's true. I think there are a lot of Mexican families that would love to still be in Mexico, but they don't have choices all the time. And so when a woman comes alone to, suddenly she has to share her life with her husband, who's decided that here he's going to stay, period, get used to it. She's pretty sad. She feels like what we call culture shock. And she probably just doesn't want to deal with it. She wants to keep thinking about the past and where she lived in Mexico. What hints do we have that she has had some Mexican acculturation besides just language? What does the word acculturation mean, by the way?
I don't know.
Can you guess? Acculturation? Acculturation? Well, you know what culture is, right? Does anybody know what culture is?
Yes.
Well, what do you think acculturation might be? Okay, that's a good guess. A whole culture. Acculturation is like getting used to a culture. Yeah. Right.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
So say, what if you're a Buddhist and you went to Judaism?
You would have to acculturate.
Oh.
You'd have to learn the new cultural ways of Buddhism. Yeah. And some people find it very, very difficult to change cultures. And they call it, when they find it very, very difficult to change cultures, they call it culture shock. Some people die of it.
Really? Like they get killed?
They become so depressed that their lives go spiraling down. Sometimes they end up on drugs. Sometimes they accidentally get run over by a car because they're not paying attention because they're so depressed. Sometimes they just become ill because they're sad all the time. Sometimes other bad things happen to them because they're self-destructive. It's bad when you cannot get over culture shock. Rafaela, who drinks coconut and papaya juice on Tuesdays. Now let's see what Rafaela's story is about. On Tuesdays, Rafaela's husband comes home late because that's the night he plays dominoes. And then Rafaela, who is still young but getting old from leaning out the window so much, gets locked indoors because her husband is afraid Rafaela will run away since she is too beautiful to look at. Rafaela leans out the window and leans on her elbow and dreams her hair is like Rapunzel's. On the corner there's music from the bar, and Rafaela wishes she could go there and dance before she gets old. A long time passes and we forget she's up there watching until she says, "Kids, if I give you $1, will you go to the store and buy me something?" She throws a crumpled dollar down and always asks for coconut or sometimes papaya juice. And we send it up to her in a paper shopping bag she lets down with clothesline. Rafaela, who drinks and drinks coconut and papaya juice on Tuesdays and wishes there were sweeter drinks, not bitter like an empty room, but sweet like the island, like the dance hall down the street where women much older than her throw green eyes easily like dice, and open homes with keys. And always there is someone offering sweeter drinks, someone promising to keep them on a silver string. Now, you got to picture these kids down below. And remember Rapunzel is the one that had the long hair? What do we call that? Now that we know what that is in literature, what do we call that? Here's Sandra Cisneros, and she's writing about the story Rapunzel. What's that called? When a writer is writing about some other piece of writing. Anybody remember?
Inspirational, right?
It's a term that we learned and we copied notes about it. It starts with A. Allusion, right. That's right. So she's making an allusion to a fairy tale. So Sandra Cisneros, the writer of House of Mango Street, is making allusion to Rapunzel. Do we know the allusion? How many of you know Rapunzel is the one that... Wasn't it the movie called Twisted or something? Tangled. Tangled. Okay, so Tangled, right? She lets her hair down. And the prince is supposed to climb up and save her, right? So what are they sending up on the little rope? What are the kids sending up to her? They put it in a little bag, a grocery bag, like a little Targa bag or something, and they put it on the rope, and she pulls it up to the second story window. What are they putting in there? Coconut and papaya juice, right? But now she is looking at the last sentence. It says, always there's someone offering sweeter drinks. What might those sweeter drinks be? Remember now that
Liquor.
we are not talking literally now. We're talking metaphorically. So it might be freedom. And what is this about offering them attached to a silver chain instead of a rope? What might the silver chain represent or be a symbol of? What was that? What might it be a symbol of? He said something and I couldn't hear him. Could you guys... Savannah and Damon, go outside. Go ahead. Tell me, because I can't hear you because they're talking.
It's a chain. Like she's like a prisoner or something.
Okay, it does kind of does mention that she's like a prisoner. So, but why would sweeter drinks be coming on a silver chain? The silver. But are we really talking about drinks now?
No.
What are we talking about? It could be freedom, but who might this person be that's offering it to her? She lives with her father. It could be the man she loves, but does the man you love offer you something with a silver chain? Maybe it's a nice man who is going to give her silver jewelry, right? But what if it's an older man who's just trying to buy her? We don't know that yet, do we? All we know is that at the end of the chapter, it's hinting that someone is going to bring her something sweeter, and it might come in the disguise of a silver chain. We don't really know how it's going to turn out for Rafaela. She's being trapped by her father. Does that help girls develop skills for how to talk to boys or no? No. Does it help girls develop skills on how to survive boys that mean them some harm? If you lock them up, does it help them to develop their skills on how to talk to boys to get them off their case? No, it doesn't, does it? Yes. What was that? Oh, Rafaela's a husband. I'm sorry. It's Sally in the next chapter. His father has her locked up. So, Rafael, you're right. It's her husband. Sally is the girl with eyes like Egypt. Have you guys seen those Egyptian drawings or paintings where the eye makeup on the lady is really exaggerated? Okay. So Sally is the girl with eyes like Egypt, and nylon's the color of smoke. Nylons, we don't hear that word too much anymore, but it means they used to wear them instead of pantyhose. Now we have pantyhose, but they used to have nylons where it was one stocking at a time. and it's so your legs, the color of your natural skin shows through. It's not like tights where you can't see your skin underneath. And that's what ladies wear under their dresses and skirts. The boys at school think she's beautiful because her hair is shiny black like raven feathers, and when she laughs, she flicks her hair like a satin shawl over her shoulders and laughs. Her father says to be this beautiful is trouble. They're very strict in his religion. They're not supposed to dance. He remembers his sisters and is sad. Then she can't go out. Sally, I mean. Sally, who taught you to paint your eyes like Cleopatra? And if I roll the little brush with my tongue and chew it to a point and dip it in the muddy cake, the one in the little red box, will you teach me? How many of you girls have seen Maybelline eye lash?
Maybelline.
So it comes in a red thing sometimes. That's what she's talking about. I like your black coat and those shoes you wear. Where'd you get them? My mother says to wear black so young is dangerous. But I want to buy shoes just like yours, like your black ones made out of suede, just like those. And one day when my mother's in a good mood, maybe after my next birthday, I'm going to ask to buy the nylons too. So Esperanza wants to be older and more like dangerous, like Sally. This is so funny, you guys. When I was teaching at Overfelt, there was this teacher, he said when he was a kid, they literally would not let the girls wear red on Friday because he said it would get the boys too excited for the weekend. I know, it's crazy. It was some Catholic school. They said, no, girls cannot wear red on Friday. Oh my goodness. And they're saying black is a dangerous color. Cheryl, who is not your friend anymore, not since last Tuesday before Easter, not since the day you made her ear bleed, not since she called you that name, and bit a hole in your arm, and you looked as if you were going to cry and everyone was waiting, and you didn't. Sally, not since then. You don't have a best friend to lean against the schoolyard fence with, to laugh behind your hands at what the boys say. There is no one to lend you her hairbrush. What has happened to Sally and Cheryl's friendship?
Over.
It's over. What did Cheryl do? She bit a hole in her arm and made her ear bleed. That can't be good, right? I think that would pretty much end your friendship right there. The stories the boys tell in the coat room, they're not true. You lean against the schoolyard fence alone with your eyes closed as if no one was watching, as if no one could see you standing there, Sally. What do you think about when you close your eyes like that? And why do you always have to go straight home after school? You become a different Sally. You pull your skirt straight, you rub the blue paint off your eyelids. You don't laugh, Sally. You look at your feet and walk to the house you can't come out from. Hold it together, class. Sally, do you sometimes wish you didn't have to go home? Do you wish your feet would one day keep walking and take you far away from Mango Street, far away, and maybe your feet would stop in front of a house? A nice one, with flowers, and big windows and steps for you to climb up 2 by 2 upstairs to where a room is waiting for you. And if you opened the little window latch and gave it a shove, the windows would swing open, all the sky would come in. There'd be no nosy neighbors watching, no motorcycles and cars, no sheets and towels and laundry. Only trees and more trees and plenty of blue sky. And you could laugh, Sally. You could go to sleep and wake up and never have to think who likes and doesn't like you. You could close your eyes and you wouldn't have to worry what people said because you never belonged here anyway, and nobody could make you sad and nobody would think you're strange because you like to dream and dream. Freeze! Freeze! Sit down. And no one could yell at you if they saw you out in the dark leaning against a car, leaning against somebody without someone thinking you are bad. Okay, you're staying after. It's bad enough you have to stay after now. The longer you make noise, the longer you're staying after. Freeze! Just freeze. I've got like 3 sentences. You guys, the longer you keep, I'm going to make you double and triple the amount of time you keep doing that. And no one could yell at you.
Except freeze, sorry.
And no one could yell at you if they saw you out in the dark leaning against a car, leaning against somebody without someone thinking you are bad, without someone saying it is wrong, without the whole world waiting for you to make a mistake when all you wanted, Sally, was to love and to love and to love and to love, and no one could call that crazy. Now, I just want to say this. You have the right to want to love someone and to want to be loved. Keep it up. The people that I see moving right now, you're going to stay behind when everybody leaves. This is important, and I want you to hear my words. You have the right to love, and want to be loved. And don't let anybody say that you don't. So when people start to criticize you for what they criticized Sally for, which was just wanting to be loved, then they don't have a right to do that. So when I see kids that kiss their boyfriend or girlfriend goodbye to go to class or whatever, and I see teachers mad at them for that, I think you just must be jealous or envious. Because you don't have anybody that's cheerfully saying goodbye to you today. So go out there and take good care of each other.